Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and I'm here today at CZ in Uherský Brod in the Czech Republic, taking a look at the new P09 line that CZ has just dropped, I believe, yesterday. So the P09's been around for a little while. What they have now is not really a fundamental change to the platform, but a number of fairly non-trivial upgrades to it. Probably the most substantial one is the guns are now cut for optics, as you can see here. So we have one of the compact. This used to be called a P07, the compact model. It's now the P09 compact, or P09 Nocturne compact. The name of the new line is Nocturne. And then we have a full size, which is the P09 Nocturne F, or full size. This is the version that used to be called just plain P09. So that sounds maybe a bit pedantic, but the thing that makes the P09 series a little bit unusual in the modern handgun marketplace is the fact that it combines the features of a modern polymer lightweight frame with what I suppose you would now consider to be the classic double-action, single-action fire control mechanism. So most of the pistols that we see out on the market new today are polymer framed, striker fired. But there are a lot of people, as well as a lot of police agencies, security organizations, that like the DASA fire control combination. And the P09 has the option to swap between decocker or safety. So this is a gun that can be run always DA. Well, not DA only, but it can be holstered, carried DA, or you can set it up with the safety and carry it cocked and locked. So let's take a closer look, and let me show you where the P09 comes from, because we actually have all of the historical versions that led up to this. All right, so this is the new P09 full size, and to me, I think it really helps put this in some context by showing the family lineage from whence it came. So here on the far side, we have the classic CZ75, probably the most famous pistol to come out of CZ, obviously introduced in 75, and essentially still in production. This is the basis of the Shadow 2. It's an outstanding pistol. Now, in 2008, they released the CZ P07 because guys really liked this, but military and police agencies were looking for, they had tender requirements. They wanted the polymer frame, they wanted the gun lighter. And so this is essentially the mechanical system of the CZ75 modernized 20 years ago, with a polymer frame as the P07. A couple years later, they go and update the P07, and that's when we get the P07, which is the compact, and then they introduce the P09, which is the full-size version of the same gun. So the original P07 Duty was always a compact platform. There is no large-scale version of this. That was the P09. The polymer's better, has removable, interchangeable back straps now. It's a number of incremental improvements to the system. And at this point, you can also swap between the safety and the decocker. Now we move forward to today. And what's the biggest thing that is missing from a pistol like this? Well, it doesn't have a way to attach an optic. And so, to my mind, the most substantial improvement of the new Nocturne series is the optics cut. So these are cut for the small scale red dots. You can see there's a holosun on one and an RMS shield on the other. They do not take full-size red dots, they just take the small ones, and that fundamentally is because there is a firing pin block safety inside the slide, and that limits the amount of material that can be cut out for the optics pocket. That said, for a carry gun, that's really, you would want the small optic anyway. If we look at these up close, this is the Legacy 07, this is the new P09 compact. You can see they've added some more checkering. The general pattern of the checkering has changed a little bit, not too much, but so the old one had just stippling serrations on the front of the grip strap. They now have full-fledged proper texturing in there. Some of the control surfaces have been changed. So for example, you really a flat shelf on the top of the slide release is more useful than the style they had here. There is now a tactile loaded chamber indicator. So when the extractor when there's a round under the extractor, this drops. You can see that shiny pin, and you can also feel it when the gun's loaded. So tactile in the dark, red dot for in the dark, hence the name Nocturne. Of course, the magazine Magazines have been slightly redesigned, so you now have this extra material here with texturing. So if you get a bunch of sand and dirt into the grip of the magazine, the grip of the pistol, you have some grabbing, some texture here to grab onto to rip the magazine out. That said, the original magazines will still fit just fine. This is a 15-round compact size magazine. Also worth pointing out that the new 09 compact will fit old P07 holsters. So a good bit of legacy compatibility, but with the improved features. And of course, the full size has all of those same updates, the magazines, the controls, the tactile loaded chamber indicator, etc., etc., and will fit old P09 holsters. All right, just for kicks, let's take this 09 Nocturne Compact, which currently has a decocker, and let's swap it over to a regular safety. So obviously check it first. For disassembly, you have these two little notches in the slide and frame. Line those up, and then you can just push the slide stop pin out. Corner of the magazine base plate works nicely for this. There it goes. Pin comes out, and the slide comes off. The action up here is really totally normal, nothing special. It's just Browning tilting barrel like you would expect. All right, so in order to remove the decocker, what we need to do is push down on the ejector like that, and then push this side lever out. We can just push on this protrusion right there. So ejector down, push out on that. You can see that will start the lever coming out. Then if you have strong, good fingers, you can just grab this and pull it out. Again, while holding down on that, I'm going to use this to pop it like that. Also, watch that that spring doesn't fly out, because it sometimes does. So, by the way, the good news is you're going to be taking this out anyway, because this is part of the decocking mechanism, but not used for the safety. So this, make sure you pick it up off the floor, but then keep it out of the gun. Depressing this lever will take all the spring tension off the opposite side, and then it just drops off the gun. Then we're going to go and get our safety controls. Install the right side first, and that just drops into the same hole. Again, press that lever spring down and it'll take the spring tension off of it. So we've got that side in, and then we take this side and we're just going to thread it through here, line it up with the right side, holding down on the disconnector to allow it into place. There we go. Snap it together. And now you've got the safety installed. So safety on, hammer won't drop, safety off, and it does. All right, now let's go ahead and reassemble the compact. There we go, line that up. And let's take them both out to the range and put a few rounds through them. All right, let's see how it shoots. I'm gonna try both, but we'll start with the compact. I got a 15-round mag, decocker. The decocker handles nicely under the thumb. That's cool. So our first round double action. So there's the classic DA-SA compromise of I have a nice long double action pull for safety's sake, you know, so you can carry the gun like a DA revolver, and then I immediately gank the second shot because it's now single action and a substantially different trigger pull. And that is, like, literally right there, that is the whole debate over striker fired versus single action only versus DA-SA. So decock it. First round's long, second round's nice and short. All right, that's not bad, but it is a little kicky. It is a lightweight gun, polymer framed, and it's got some snap to it. Let's try the full size. Same thing, decock it for the first round. Oh, very long. That's a particularly long one. I like that quite a lot better. It is nicer to shoot. It's lighter in the recoil. It feels like it's not jumping as much. The muzzle isn't climbing as much. And I brought a spare magazine for it as well. It's a nice, easy safety mechanism. That's why militaries and police forces often really like the DASA. Boop, right there. Not too terrible. I like it. All right, well, there you go. Both versions of the new CZ P09. Big thanks to CZ for giving me access to these. Come out here and do some shooting with them. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.